A very, very warm good evening. This is Arunava Chaudhuri. You are live on my YouTube channel, Arunfoot. It is Saturday, the 15th of November, 2025, and another live Indian football discussion here on my channel. Early in the day, I did a watch along of the India under-23s match against Thailand, which ended in a 4-0 defeat for India, and very, very clear-cut result for Thailand. And meanwhile, the Indian senior national team is getting ready to fly out to, has already flown out today from Bangalore to Dhaka to play in the fifth and penultimate AFC Asian Cup final round qualifier. A lot of hype in Dhaka around that game, so therefore we will surely talk about that as well, and other things as well, and what's the current status of the Indian Super League? What's the status of the Indian football season? Which the longer everything is taking, the more likely, in my opinion, it is that it could mean that there might be no season coming up for us, that there might not be active football in the men's game. So therefore, that's something that we'll have to wait and see. Renu says people hyped up under 23s, but today showed our players are long years away from senior team. People should understand that they are kids. Let them play and level up properly. We really put too much pressure on them. Seems like Musa Sir was testing bench and some of the players aren't at the level they needed. But hopefully this mids put heads down. These kids, put heads down and work. Yeah, Renal, the thing is, we've had some boys who have moved up to the senior national team. We've got some boys who no longer are eligible for the under-23s from last year's from the qualifiers this year. They will not be eligible for the qualifiers in 2027. So those are realities. And therefore, for me, this was a test to see what kind of players are there. Noshan tested a few of the younger ones, and it was clearly visible that we are not a match for Thailand at this level at the moment. Let's be honest about that. I thought I was impressed by the way that the Thais combined, and the 4-0 in the end. Yeah, it could have been 6-1, 7-1 if we're lucky if we score one there, but they were better than us, and if I like it or not, and that is something which I find very disturbing, to say the least, right? That we were the way we were, and that we didn't play as such, or get to play the way that we needed to play to get something today, and therefore for me, disappointing, but also an unwanted reality check for me and for you and for all of us, with this for this team, for this squad, because I would have said, we are a bit off from where we could be, and this was really the reality check that I think was needed, because I have said and I maintain that there seems to be a lot of nations who have a bit of a problem in their under 23s, and we've done a little better than in the recent years, but it has not helped us, and therefore for us, I think the question now is, for Naushad, good learning. I think sometimes a 4-0 is better than just losing, let's say 1-0, 2-0, because then, you as a coach can really tell the players, have an open conversation, and also some of the senior players in the squad, so therefore that's the reality. Good evening, Blue. Why aren't we focusing on the players who will play next qualifiers? Early start is best now. Blue, the question is who? I think that's what Naushad is doing. I think this is a team. Again, I felt that the one and the other 18-year-old is not ready for this level. And that's the question that I think Naushad or others need to answer then for themselves. If this is, for me, that's the thing that we need to talk about. If I look at, and to me, this match also showed that how important Bikash Jungnam is was for this team defensively. I think that's the one player that I've always said that I stand. And I remember at the start of the game, a lot of people were praising Shumit Sharma, but Shumit Sharma with two penalties to give away shows you the boy has to learn a lot, and that's something. But again, if I look at the technical aspect, and that was the scary part for me, that I've talked about this at senior level, at junior level as well. And to me, very, very clearly, we are not there. Technically, we were nowhere near Thailand. That's the thing. And what I read today was very, very evident. The Thais are trying to play one touch, two touch, right? They're trying to play as quickly as they can. And we've got a lot of players who like to take a third touch, a fourth touch, a fifth touch. Very evident today with Ayush Chhetri, right? Who today at least became, because I was watching something that he was carrying the ball way too often, and that's a problem, and that was a problem, and therefore I'm not sure about how we can sort this. But yeah, there's the thing that became evident for me today, which was very, very worrying, is that there are certain basics which the players don't have in their game, and which I fear these players will not learn. I think that was the brutal realization, that there are a lot of players in the age group of 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 within Indian football who miss certain basics, and there are age where they will not learn at all. It was U23 team. Besides, let's cut these guys some slack on the Aditya. No, again, and that's the problem, right? If you start justifications, therefore it doesn't matter. Again, for me, the worrying part is what I saw today is a lot of boys where, my question would be, is there an opportunity for them to grow further, or have they already peaked? Because this reminds me of a conversation I had with a few people around the Under-17 World Cup at the time, where certain people said about certain players, you know what, these players have been brought up through the system and now, pushed through the system so that they peak at the right time. And that is the Under-17 World Cup. It was not the future of Indian football. So therefore, that's an interesting thing. I think we'll have to observe and see what happens, but that's a very big challenge. Good evening, Aditya. Will Ryan play Bangladesh matches? Is not there any information. Blue, that's the question of all questions. He's off to Bangladesh. Let's see if his NOC gets cleared. Yes, Aditya, that's the question. And Swastik, all of you asking the same question. The NOC has not come yet, right? So the point here is, for me, very, very simple. The NOC is not that big of an issue normally. Normally, the All India Football Federation needs to send a message to the Australian Federation, which is Football Australia, and say, hey, listen, Football Australia, your former international Ryan Williams wants to play for us. Could you simply issue us an NOC so we can register him for our national team? So that's the thing. I checked, Ryan Williams played 12 times for the under-20s, 3 times for the under-23s, and 1 friendly in 2019 for Australia. And and therefore that's the question, So therefore for me, that's a big thing. And I don't know why it's taking so long. This is not a complicated process. This is relatively clear-cut. You send in a letter, you get a reply, you upload that to the FIFA platform, to the FIFA portal, and then FIFA clears the player. But is the AIFF in such a disarray that the AIFF top management, the AIFF top brass, and the national team department is in no position to get this done? I don't know. If Ryan Williams does not play, that would be a disgrace. Honestly, that would be a huge, huge disgrace. Right? After Gurpreet Singh, the future of goalkeepers looks a very big concern. Swastik, I would agree with you. I don't know what is again. It shows to me what I've said. I said a few times today in my life that my fear is, if I look at the team, if I look at the players, if I look at the whole system, there is something lacking, right? There is something lacking in Indian football, massively lacking in Indian football. And if I see what I saw today, for me, the biggest problem is, it is something, and for me, it is very, very important, and so therefore, it is. I don't know what has happened. The only one who's giving me a certain level of hope is Ritik Tiwari. I'll be honest with you. I think that's the goalkeeper. When I see him, look at him, I think, yeah. So therefore, it's going to be interesting what happens. But I don't know why the level is at the moment the way it is, and it is a problem. And why? I don't know. Again, from the under 23s downwards, under 20s, under 70s, we seem to have a huge goalkeeper problem. BC have parted ways with their manager. Could this be a warning for other clubs as well? August, of course. Listen, it is somewhat of the coach wanted to know what the reality is. Supposedly, he has an offer. I think it was Greece. I think in Europe they were saying that it could be offer from Greece, that you might join a club in Greece. And for Gerard Zaragoza, for all of them, is the question of, do I want to stay or do I move on, right? We've got a lot of players who in the last few weeks have joined the Super League Kerala just to be in football, right? I think the latest was, Ishan Pandita, who's joined Malappuram. And therefore, it is the way it is. And it is very tricky in a way that, yeah. Thoughts on CR7's red card, total honest in my opinion. Rustic, I mean, clear card red, no doubt about it, sheer stupidity. And, that's a 3 or 4 match ban. Hearing from Kolkata journalist Dulal Day that AIFF will help before also trying to organize the top tier league. Sushanta, sorry, again, with all due respect to Dulal and all these so-called journalists and social media pundits and influencers and content creators, nobody knows what's happening. This is not you are being sold information, what is actually speculation, or someone has told them some story here or there. Nobody knows what's happening. And how can you hold the ISL with the support of 4 clubs? Just think for it for a moment. There needs to be some sort of commercial partner. And I've asked the question yesterday in my video. If you want, watch it, where I ask Indian football crisis, where I ask the question is, do we have to sacrifice the 2025-2026 season in the best interest of things for the mid to long-term future? I think this is a question and nobody is willing to ask. At the moment, for us, it's just about, can we survive? Can we do something? And at the moment, it is, the Supreme Court is involved and all of that is involved. And I don't know if it's going to work or not. So for me, at the moment, as I see things, very, very difficult. Very, very difficult, because the whole matter goes now to the Supreme Court. Now, the clubs, the players have also gotten involved in all this matter. And this makes it even more complex. It makes it very, very complex. Could Bangladesh file a complaint to FIFA? Khalid does for Iran in the game, and also why it's taking so long to get the NOC? Are they checking if he actually can play for India? XYZ, if he's on the roster, Bangladesh have no point to question the validity of Ryan playing for India. The reality is that why is it taking so long? Because the AIFF has not received the NOC from the Australians. And the question is, have they sent it to the right person? Have they sent it to the right organization? I don't even know. That's my concern. And that has not happened. And to me, let's wait and see what happens because of it. Honestly, no, this is not our main team. Many players have less game time in the squad, but losing 4-0 is a little more bad. Could have been much better. Hope to much better in next. Since the two match to 20 November evening, Indian national team match, India 20 match. Yeah, but sorry, Shanata, to me, the point is not losing 4-0. It's the question of losing the way you lose. And to me, to make that comparison is very, very bad because we were nowhere today. I think a 4-0 is actually a very friendly result to us for the game we played. If it was 6-7-0, we couldn't have said anything, right? And this is the problem because we've had a lot of, 1 goal, 2 goal losses. So therefore, this perception is we're not that far off. We've had a lot of bad matches in the last 2.5 years, right? So that's our problem. And yeah, I always said this: our players are too slow, taking extra touches where Thai took pass and moved to the goalpost. I think that's a grassroots problem, right? Grassroots, youth football. Again, my concern is after looking at a lot of these younger boys who played today, right? Who are supposedly potentially under 20, future under 23. The main work of the coach will be to work on the basics. That is my concern. If I see them play the way they did, it wasn't good enough. It was just not good enough. And if I see that you need to be at a certain level to grow and then to take them to the next level, and that's not there, then it is a big, big problem. That would be disrespectful to Ryan too. He literally sacrificed Aussie passport to play full and knowing that happening in the league, AIFF literally giving red flag first day. Yeah, bro. I mean, welcome to the world of AIFF. Is it Ryan will travel with the team but won't play until NOC from Australia? Yes, Bon Brad. As long as the NOC from Australia doesn't come, and as long as there is no okay given by Australia, and as the NOC not given, and then the player registered in the system for India, he won't be able to play. At least our women are moving abroad. Rivika Ramji to Singapore, moving. This is how they good for senior. XYZ, that's good. But again, what is the IWL also is not a proper league. It's more of a tournament this season. That's how bad a position would have be coach, receive, coach left. There's been lots of cases here. There, coach to Kalamcha with blinkings per days and saying it happened from Jan to March. That's what Potter transport. Okay. What is it? The coaching problem? Our coaching system likes to give chance to kids who are superior with physical aspects. Then again, short-term results is a problem. Yes. Again, I look at my tomorrow. I don't look at the long-term who can develop. That's of course. But again, the quality of coaching is a question. And this is something which we need to ask the whole world, So that's a huge problem. That's where we are. And yeah. Thoughts on Germany's ready to comfortable winning against Luxembourg. Rustic, we played badly, but but again, 2-0 counts. And again, qualifiers are always, sometimes you have an easy campaign, sometimes you have a tougher campaign, and this wasn't a good campaign so far from Germany, but again, the win counts, and now you have to at least draw against Slovakia, and everything else doesn't matter. I think Reliance Foundation Young Champs is serious. They're going to start a new age group program for U6, U8, U10. Yeah, Daniel, but again, what is the advantage of that? This is going to take time. These programs are things that are going to take time, and it's not tomorrow that is happening, and therefore, you have to be honest on that. Let's hope like every category of women club also do good, starting on at least a good game, bring some good fight as much for women's ACL. Good luck, East Bengal FC. Do you think young kids, rather than blaming the ecosystem, rather look at their own potential areas and these it takes to become extraordinary? Renal, it is the system, it is the coaches, but it's also the players, right? So it's this. We are in a situation where it is everything, and the players also are unrealistic. I know a lot of players are talking about what are they talking about? They're talking about big clubs in Europe and all. That's great. You have ambition, but again, you're not good enough to even play at an ISL or I-League level these days, right? The quality is dropping. So it is the system, it is the coaches, it is also on the players. So it's the whole system by itself, and yeah, that's the most important thing. Do you think teams like Bangladesh and South Asian team Sri Lanka, with their growing strength, they would be able to lock Ryan up? He's aging, we shouldn't forget. XYZ, Ryan will have his moments if he plays, and Bangladesh will have their moments also. And, it's a question of how can we get those things done. And it's a question of how can we, how can we create those things, because that's for us a big problem. And this is something, and so therefore, I mean, Ryan joining us gives us a certain level of quality which we currently don't have. Let's be honest about that. But again, Bangladesh has now multiple players of origin, and then Sri Lanka even more. So they, let's see if next year the SAF Cup happens, how we compete on that. Is this U20 going to play second friendly? Thailand when? I'm sure they will play another match on the 18th. I think AIFF isn't even concerned with NOC. The priority right now must be somehow organize the league. They don't care. No, I don't think so. Again, this is something, is at different levels. So therefore, that's where it is. If you have a realistic plan to organize the ISL, no, or no, it's not realistic, because do you think, does anybody think realistically that the AIFF is in a position to organize the ISL? Simple question. Simple question, in my opinion. Can the AIFF organize the ISL? Or can they actually organize the, right? Hope Ryan gets NOC before Bangladesh match. It will be good. He gets to play after NOC. Otherwise, we'll have to wait more to see him with the national team. Exactly. What AIFF plan did they get in partner? What is happening currently around that? What partner? What partner are we talking about? What partner are we talking about? Right? So, yeah, the AIFF has no partner. This matters in the Supreme Court. After watching the Singapore-Hong Kong games against Bangladesh, the atmosphere on the 18th is about to be crazy, by the way. Yeah, Rustic, it'll be really insane. So therefore, for me, that's going to be. It means something like Reliance Foundation Young Champs Mini Mizo. Okay. Damn, you have to comment how quickly the Indian Navy got those documents for those many players. It's crazy. It's like 10, 15 players they grew in 4 months. Yeah, XYZ, but they have an own department. They've got everything going for them. And that is something which is, so therefore, it is something which is there. Ishan Pandita joins SLK. Yeah, Babalu's animation. I spoke about it a little earlier that he is part of the Malappuram FC team now. Again, they've got quite a few players, fringe players. Again, sadly to call Ishan a fringe player, but that's where he is at the moment, I guess, who have joined the Super League Kerala. And therefore, let's see. World Cup months, first time cross country World Cup 48 teams are supporting Spain because of Yamaha, also Portugal final Anfield Ronaldo through World Cup. Let's see, Shanata. Cristiano Ronaldo might be in a situation where he could end up, not playing at all. If it's a 3 or 4 match suspension, let's see. I forgot I have to watch India parking the ship against Bangladesh. Will be very interesting, says Blue. Oops. Hamza versus Ryan. Let's go. I'm hyped to watch that duel. Sashwastik. You have to prepare like a report, right? Like showing Ryan grandparents' birthplace, photo, residence, extra proof of citizenship in recent malicious kind of FIFA asked for detailed report. No, actually not, because he's got a passport. So FIFA doesn't. If you have got citizenship, again, this is a scandal. That's why Malaysia, there was a cross check, which you normally don't do. And he's got Indian citizenship, so that part is sorted. He just needs an NOC from the Australians. What do you think AIFF is holding meeting on 18th for? They're meeting the clubs. On the 18th, they're meeting the clubs, and on the 24th, they're doing an internal meeting. The question is what happens, Yeah. And and nobody knows what the next step is within the AIFF. Do you actually feel sorry for the players? It's just a hypothetical question. I feel sorry for the laborers and workers and organizers who are dependent on ISL and the salaries. XYZ, I'm also, yes, I feel for the players. And again, even it doesn't have to be for the top level players who've earned good money, right? But I feel for the players because that's their livelihood, that's their job, right? So I do feel for the players. Yeah, again, some of them earn a lot of money, some might not be earning that much. So therefore, yeah, it's a problem. How many things are in Supreme Court? Oh, Blue, let's not even. Supreme Court, how many not, is, I think, a difficult question for me to answer because I think nobody knows how many things are by now in the Supreme Court, right? So therefore, it is, yeah. State away opposed an article in Constitution. Rest they have. That's the 25.3 clause that you can only be part of one organization. So either you're part of the AIFF at the top, or you're part of the state association. You can't be part of the state association and part of the AIFF, which is very, very weird because in the football world, you know, I always bring Dr. Reinhard Rauber, used to be president of Borussia Dortmund. He was the chairman of the German Bundesliga, of the DFL, and he was also part of the German FA, and then he was also on some boards at UEFA and FIFA. So therefore, makes no sense. So some of these things that people are asking for, again, yes, we will have to talk about conflict of interest on one side, but on the other side is, if I don't have the experience of what is happening in a state association, or if I'm linked to a state association, then it becomes very, very difficult. Players returning from abroad are not making that quality difference, rather they warm benches. That's what the use of investing so much. Raj, it's about a question of quality. It's a question of quality, and if it's a question of quality, is you can have trained abroad, but are you really better? That's the point, right? So therefore, that's the thing. How much you rate Wadu as a player and as a coach? Rustic, I always rated Miraj because Miraj was a fighter, a warrior. You know, he gave something, but it was not just about the fighting spirit, but also about the quality that Miraj had. And as a coach, he's trying to do things. He's trying to implement things. I wish him that he would get a better club where he can get better quality, better facilities, better everything than what he has at the moment at Mountain Sporting. So that will be very interesting to see. For the first time in a decade, Bangladesh will start as favourites. Yeah, looks like it. Do you think if we had Ryan, we had an edge in qualifiers? Theoretical question, Ryan. Ryan surely would have made us better, but overall, not sure. I think not organizing a league is better than organizing a league like I-League. Yeah, Sushant, I think that's the whole point. At the moment, the desperation level at all fronts is so that, let's organize something for the sake of organizing things. And that, in my opinion, is not good enough. That is not good enough. That will not be good enough. And yeah, we are where we are at the moment, right? So I just saw an old video of yours working at Times Now. How long were you there? How you switched from local reporter to football journalist? Utsav, I was never a local reporter. I was, what you call a freelancer. Whenever they had something on international affairs here in Germany or in the Netherlands, I used to do some stuff for them. I've done that for them because I used to do football work, and then they asked me to do some other non-football work as well. Is Kerala Blasters no cup? Zinath, at the moment, it is, right? They need to, no cup, no trophy. The Blasters need to change that. 180 games, 150 days, by the way, I'm impressed. Swastik. And this shows you, this is what I don't understand, that someone who is a president himself, right? Who knows the sport very well, or should be knowing the sport very well, doesn't know how to micromanage the sport, right? So that's the point. So to me, that's a problem. And yeah, is the worst ever since in the 3 decades. Yeah, Brennan. I mean, the AIFF was, again, the AIFF had surely always shortcomings and issues and problems, but the AIFF always was able to run things. So therefore, from that perspective, yeah, I would say that. Can you give any info on the Malaysia case? What's happening in the scandal? Look, the Malaysia case is that they have faked the identities of grandparents who are supposedly born somewhere in Malaysia and supposedly aren't. But then the Malaysians are now saying that it is, that they are, and they just don't have the documents to prove that point. And so therefore that's an important fact. And yeah. So don't worry for fifth this season. Already we lost ACL 2 spot. Listen, for Fang, to give up the season has nothing to do with the ACL 2 spot. The ACL 2 spot is a continental thing. What happens within India is a different question, right? So from that perspective, and that's the point. Do you feel like our players spend less time on ball? Like I saw Yandanda mention, every kid training you guys one ball each for session. So one ball for one kid, it leads to more touches. Yeah, then I've seen academies where you train how is it, one ball to 15, 20, 30 kids. I've seen those kind of academies, right? So that persists in India. So therefore, on the ball, yeah, touches on the ball is very important. Quick reminder, guys, like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, so we can get a bigger reach. 6 likes only so far on this video. And again, as I say, please share it. We're at 3,412 in regard to number of subscribers. So thank you very much. We're slowly, clearly growing. So more than 400 since we cracked the 3,000 mark about 1.5 months back. So thank you very much. And the aim, today is the 15th of November, aim by the end of the year, maybe to crack the 4,000. So help me. And already as news on Tuesday, I'll be traveling. I'll be in the UK, but I'll be doing a live watch along on Tuesday of the Bangladesh versus India match. So therefore, do keep that in mind as well. Is 10 years a big time frame in football? Do you see the ecosystem getting better in last 9 years apart from considering? Then we have to differentiate. If I want to talk about time frames, if I want to talk about development, I have to say, grounds have become better, training facilities have become better, match day organization, broadcast has become better, fan amenities, social media, and all of that has become better. But yeah, but what counts is on the field, and on the field we've become worse, and that is something which we need to recognize, need to realize. Do you think BSL would really be a success? Rastik, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. And it's like the Super League Kerala, because Super League Kerala will sell you a story that they are successful, but if you hear from people who are involved, who speak about the finances, they'll tell you that the financial side is not working. So therefore, realities. Didn't Ryan say he would try to convince other Indian origin players to play for India? If he actually does that, it would be very good. Also, do you know him personally or only on a professional only? I only know him on a professional level, and yeah, again, he would try and convince. That's nice. Yeah, so let's see. And now, do you see Indian using school football ecosystem to get a larger number of players? Then I think the number of players is not the problem; it's the quality. I think we've got, again, I go back to about 20, 25 years back, where we had only the Tata Football Academy, and literally we were producing 25 players every 2 years, right? We were better with those 25 players than now with, I don't know, thousands of players coming up, right? So it's not about quantity, it's about quality. And school football, yeah, for the sake of having it, let's see. Indian football very lost, says Zinad. Yeah, looks like it. Not even 150 days, or if every got 30 days and us a game being played during match window. Rishabh, again, it's not the calculation doesn't work anyway. I think if we're looking at things at the moment, then we have to be honest enough that it will be, if at all, it will be I don't know if it's going to be even a half season. I said how many teams, we don't know. We don't know nothing. So therefore, if Kalyan Job is able to tell us what format he has in mind, how many clubs he has in mind, how many things he knows more and understands more than anybody else at the moment, and I don't see that. Who's your favorite Japanese player currently playing in Bundesliga? For me, it has to be Doan. Yeah. If you ask me that way, I think Ritsu Doan is most probably at Eintracht Frankfurt. Yeah. Yes, Zinat looks like unlikely to happen. Is there any science behind in Europe and Latin America kids start playing organized football from the same ones? Is it because it's easier for kids to master fundamental young age than older? Renal, is there a science behind it? Yes, some will say no. I think at a young age, it's about playing football. It's about enjoying yourself and just playing football. It's not about playing football for, you're talking about the science. The science comes in a little later. You should play football at a young age to enjoy yourself, and that is what is missing. And if you don't have that, then it's a problem. And and therefore it is the way it is, right? It is the way it is. And I've heard from a lot of parents, and my kid playing football, there's that, everything, and it needs to do this, it needs to do that, and I'm saying, like, why let the kid play football, let the kid enjoy, let the kid enjoy, and therefore for me, that's the biggest challenge I would say there is. And if you want to talk about things, then figure out those things than anything else. Most realistic option would be to organize ISL with 2 groups and then players for top 3 of each group. Because I don't even know what is the best. Again, I need to know how many days we have. You guys are going to the step 3, step 4 before sorting step 1. Anyone who at this moment in time is talking about a schedule, we're too far off. At this moment, if we now sort out our things, if we today, 15th of November, would sort out things, early Jan start, could be possible, right? This matter will go to the Supreme Court. Do you think that the Supreme Court is going to sort this out in 1 week, 10 days? This thing will now drag into December. Worst case, this might drag into Jan, right? What happens then? Are we talking about Feb? Are we talking March? So therefore, 25-26 season, ISL and I-League, to me, is a problem. Was a problem, is a problem, and I don't know how we're going to get out of it. So therefore, for me, if you ask me, it's not going to be possible. So therefore, we need to sort this out for once and for all. We can't be playing, we'll work our way around this. We need to recognize and realize okay, can we sort this out in a way that, we will be able to run this in some sort of form way. And at the moment, I don't see, a proper way. And how many ISL teams are there? Because suddenly it looks like Mohammedan Sporting is paying off its debt to players. It's trying to, get its bans overturned. So that seems to be good. Are they there? Right? What's the case of Odisha FC? Are they still there? Are they not there? Right? AIFF is included Interkashi, but has Interkashi been included by whoever is going to do the league? So therefore, there are a lot of questions that need to be asked, right? And I-League even more. I-League, you've not sorted the relegation part. That's an interesting one to me. That is Sporting Club Bangalore and Delhi FC, are they relegated or are they still somewhere around? Nobody knows. So we went for quantity rather than quality. I meant like school leagues for kids and making it more professional. Then we'll forget professional. Let kids play in school. The problem is about this whole professional thing. We call everything in Indian football want to call professional. No, let kids play football. And the better ones then either go to football clubs, academies, training centers, whatever, right? So it doesn't, this professional thing, doesn't work. Now, as long as it may sound to you, the current situation which jeopardizes the ISL and the continuum of top-tier football in India, doesn't this create a strong armor for OCI players in years? XYZ, yeah, maybe, and but the question is, the OCI thing will have to be sorted by the government. At the moment, it's still 12 years for a non-resident to become an Indian citizen. 12 years, right? Ryan Williams got his passport because of the BFC Connect, whatever the AIFF said, right? And I take a little credit for it, because when I did my story, some people at BFC actually woke up and realized, oh, you know what, maybe we can push, because BFC realized if we can make Ryan Williams an Indian player, we get an extra slot for a foreigner. They've done it also with keeping themselves in mind. So smart move from BFC. So even like I'm planning like starting an academy in school with the help of school guy. I'm bringing quality coaches and professional. The school guy myself, do it. What should be my main aims if I start academy at school for under 6, under 13? Good grounds, quality coaching, nutrition, etc. Then good ground is a bonus. Sorry. Let me get down to basics. What you need, right? What you need is, if you've got, let's say, 30 kids, that you have 35 footballs available to you. Why am I saying 35 instead of 30? Because the one in the ball might burst, or this might happen, that happened. Ideally, you have 40 footballs, so you've got a few on backup. Have training equipment, right? Rigs, cones, if you can, mannequins, this, that, everything. The second thing is quality coaching. So if you can get good coaches, yeah, that's going to be the next thing. Nutrition and other things comes way later. If you can do it, brilliant, but that should not be priority. Even a good ground, getting a ground at all in an Indian context is very, very difficult. Might be wrong, but inside news is no conference motion will be there from state FA. New president is aim now. Who's the inside news over? Who says that? I love this when you guys come up with the scoop and say, oh, there's an inside scoop, there's an inside news. No confidence motion is there. Is it there? I've been hearing this no confidence motion against Kalyan Chaubey for the last, let me not lie, 9 months, 10 months, 12 months, right? So we are talking about this, but has anything happened? Has any movement happened? No. And yeah. So that's where we are. That's where we stand. This is the problem of the system, and let's wait and see. Again, people have inside news. Yeah. As long as these guys don't vote and decide, nothing will happen, right? When Vijay Bali resigned from the Exco a few days ago, in regard to that whole, those two kids who are overage and had political backing, so no one stood up. So therefore, no confidence motion is nice to say. I know the people it's like, I remember Dhiman Sarkar did an article, 20 state associations are plotting to bring down Kalyan Chaubey. 20 state associations, Did it happen? No. So therefore, Ogni, nice, inside scoop, inside news. If it happens, fine. These people have not shown any spine. They are at the moment bothered about themselves because in the Supreme Court, their positions are being weakened or they are being taken out of the AIFF. Remember that. School, like a feeding system, academies and clubs. Yes, Renal, that is how it is. It is unofficially dead. Rhythm, it's still alive, right? The heartbeat is still there. I don't know how strong the heart it is. By the way, how's your local club in Germany doing? Not good, Rastik. We've had too many injuries. Sadly, again, we're in the relegation zone. But if you are able to win 2-3 matches, you're going to be up in the promotion race. So therefore, We have to get to the winter, then the winter break, and then hopefully we will resort ourselves. ISL, I-League clubs merge would be better. Mahesh, no. This is the worst idea of all. What, you want to hold a 25-team league? The ISL has a quality issue, and the I-League even more has a quality issue, right? So therefore, these kind of ideas are not, in my opinion, are not fruitful, are not going to take us in the right direction. Any player in India gone from playing school football to professional? Yeah, Ren, quite a few. Quite a few have played school football and then went into academy and then went on to play. Yeah. Kalyan Chaudhuri might say that we're going to follow Japanese-Chinese model and hence we're shifting to February to December season. Where does this come from? No. Why would he? Makes no sense. North America, the US league is just shifting to an European calendar. Makes no sense, right? February to December in Indian conditions makes no sense because of the weather conditions. Any other prediction for Arsenal Bayern? First, again, Bayern usually score 5 against Arsenal, so anything less than 5 would be a disappointment. Uzbek beat Egypt yesterday. Seems like they're going to perform well in next World Cup. Has nothing to do, what they're going to do. Beating Egypt in a friendly has nothing to say what you're going to play in a World Cup. How different was NFL to I-League? Dimanshu, in the end, it turned out that the NFL and the I-League, the only difference was that the NFL was called National Football League and the I-League was called I-League. Right? They said that the NFL was semi-pro and the I-League suddenly turned pro. But de facto, it continued the same thing. And let's see. So how much upon we bond with Reliance and current governor is new president comes in for full reputation among the top pro. You have to have relationships. Whoever comes in as a potential president has to have a relationship with the AIFF, right? Within the AIFF, and we would have to have a relationship with the government, right? Everything else is unimportant, you need to have a contact. The sports minister, if you've got high up links, even better. And you have to forget Reliance, corporate India. You need to have a communication lines open. So what about our U17, 2020 in Super League? What would they do? I mean, today we saw our under-23s are the new crop, right? Against Thailand, we're quite far away. Curaçao is on the verge of creating history. Yeah. Let's see if they can qualify for the World Cup. Rishabh, sarcasm. Rishabh, please mark it as sarcasm because otherwise I take it seriously. Smaller youth leagues is more matches better. Right now we have all youth teams playing less than 10 matches per season. Babalus, not all. There are certain teams who are playing less. It's in some states they're playing more. I know in Goa, for example, they're playing more. In Calcutta, they're playing more. In the Northeast, Mizoram and Manipur, they're playing more. I guess in other places as well. So yeah, we'll have to see. The problem is it's nationally structured. It's nationally structured doesn't make sense in my opinion. We need to localize. We need to, the state association needs to come forward and do these things because otherwise it will not, in my opinion, it will not work. I had a contact with a representative of a club 5 years ago. I said to him, I'm 19 and hadn't been to any academy. He said, it's no problem to try getting into KPL sides, then work your way to the up. Yeah, if that's the opinion, not much to say about these people. We beat Curaçao 2 years ago and now they're close to World Cup. Yeah, Babalu's animation, but that's a different team. Arsenal conceded only 5 goals in 12 matches. It's a bit too much to ask for 5-0 win in my opinion. 5-1 is fine, Steve, right? I mean, Bayern Munich. My most favorite anecdote of this, it was April 2017. I was in Pune and a friend of mine is a big Arsenal fan. So it was Arsenal Bayern and they had a show, a watch-along party in Pune. And I went there and I jokingly said to the guys, listen, Bayern's going to score 5. And everyone, no. Arsenal even took the lead and then Bayern scored 5. And I was actually excusing myself for making that sort of joke. And in the end, yeah, I mean, I've seen Bayern at the Emirates I mean, even against PSG, if they don't get that red card against Luis Diaz, which was a red card, let's be honest about it, you can give it. PSG would have got a hammering as well. So Bayern Munich is capable even against the best teams. I think Bayern Munich is the best team in Europe at the moment, and I think they just need to prove it. Sir, how good is African Canada players go there on loan like Ivory Coast, Nigeria, Cameroon, Senegal? Utsav, why would they take up? Again, Utsav, think from a perspective of a foreign club. African leagues for our players, non-starter. They will not take an Indian player. Let's start with that. Would clubs in Southeast Asia take up players? Will clubs in Japan take up players? Would clubs in South Korea take up players? Will clubs in the Gulf take up players? It is not a question of our players, this and everything. So, yeah. Nick Voltemade looks like a good striker. Yeah, Steve. Looks like something that is growing. I would think that Nick is someone to count on. And, therefore, it will be very interesting to see how we grow, and so therefore not sure if we can, if Germany has a new number 9 again, two very good goals yesterday, and to me is there any players in Indian circle became pro without any academy or in the world? Yeah, Renal, there are tons of them. There are tons of players who've not played in academy and then played for national teams over the years. So yeah, there have been quite a number of players on that front who have played, who've come through the systems, and who have played against, who've made it to the top level. So do AIFF has a good relationship with the Gulf countries? If so, our European players can join some clubs. Mahesh, it's not about the relationship of the AIFF. What's the relationship between the AIFF and a foreign federation got to do with if we're gonna be able to play here or there, right? So therefore, for me, when did we beat Curaçao? Rishabh, I just realized I'm actually myself checking, because I thought we played them in 2021, right? I thought we played them in, or was it 2020 where we played them? One sec. I'm just checking. I thought we lost. Didn't we lose to Curaçao 3-1 in the Kings Cup? Maybe in 2019? Wasn't that the first match of Igor Stimac? Right? Just one second. I'm just checking old results. 1 second. I'm just checking old Indian results. 1 second. I thought we played them, and I thought we played Curaçao in 2020, and we lost 3-1. If you ask me. 1 second. I think, don't get me wrong. Let me check. Let me check this one. Yeah, we played Curaçao on 5th of June 2019. First match in charge of Igor Stimac. 3-1. We lost in Buriram. So therefore, I don't know. Yeah. People have to understand Indians are far away from foreign club circuit until we perform. Well, nobody gonna bid for players. Forget bid. Show interest. Renal. Voltemade a better option compared to Kai Havertz. Stephen, two different strikers. Kai Havertz is a playing forward. Again, that's the same discussion I guess they've had at Arsenal. Been out for quite a while. I hope he returns. And if Kai Havertz returns, maybe he's a good option as someone to have behind Voltemade. So a lot of English clubs have fancy new stadiums. How is the overseas stadiums in Germany? Most of quite good. I mean, the English have copied a lot of our stadiums. So some of them are thinking of expanding further now. We've had the trend, of course, that a lot of clubs have stadiums of the 30+ thousand capacity, 35, 40, 50, 60, Bayern Munich 75,000, Dortmund over 81,000. So let's wait and see what other clubs do. How long is Musiala out due to injury? Stephen, he's supposed to come back in December, but now they're saying most probably he will only return in January. So hopefully Jamal Musiala will be back for Germany, for Bayern Munich in January and then March for Germany. What's your opinion about Gennaro Gattuso as Italy's head coach? Devanshu, I saw his comment yesterday about the qualifiers that it is unfair because Italy is most probably going to lose only one and then going to be eliminated and all that stuff. And I rated Gennaro Gattuso as a character highly, right? He was one of those defensive midfielders who you don't want to play against, but comments are utterly useless. So again, and it seems like Norway finally, with all the talent that they have, not only just Erling Haaland, but also with the others that they have, with Holland 2 goals, Sörloth 2 goals, Italy are in danger of potentially missing out on a third World Cup in a row. And this would be hard on Italy because this time it would be a 48-team competition. I'm failing to understand how our players are so chilled out. If club triggers force majeure, what these players are going to do, would they still sit at home with no salary? Utsav, they are not. Who says they're chilled out? The players are in panic mode, And so therefore, if you see the joint statement earlier this week, if you see the way that they've come together to try and push things, it's very very, very tricky at the moment. I think very, very tricky is putting it nicely, but it is very we have to wait and see what happens. At the moment, I think some of the players don't know what to do. Again, there are certain set of players who've been earning a lot of money, who've been, I think are very happy with the system. And there is a set of a group of players who don't know what the future holds for them. And that's a reality. We got badly exposed today in Thailand, was much, much better than us, no doubt about it. Let's hope we can at least get a much better result than this in the next game. So I think, we could get a better result. Yeah. And, but again, today's match stays in my mind. And that is the difference, the gulf of difference between us and the Thais was just brutal. The difference between them and us. And, it doesn't help. And it's very, very much, it is, we can play better. We can take our lessons from it. But the gulf in quality today, that was the scary part, in my opinion. I was looking and I'm thinking, one touch, two touch, pass, ball, outside of the foot, inside of the foot. It was a pleasure to watch Thailand. We were trying to work football. And actually I thought someone like an Ayush Chhetri with a certain level of experience at FC Goa at national level or even at now ACL2 level and all that stuff would be able to do it. Couldn't do it. Namte had his problems. Vipin Monan had his problems. Those are the guys who are the most experienced in the lot. Defenders I take out because Ronnie has just come into the FC Goa fold. Sumit Sharma, too inexperienced in my opinion. Again, 18-year-old. But again, and I remember people were praising him after the first 20 minutes. I thought, so far lucky. And then he gives away 2 penalties because, the speed and the anticipation is too fast for him, right? And that's the sad part. Do you see someone bidding for commercial rights of IWL and IWL2? Rishabh, I have no clue. I think nobody has a clue. Theoretically, it makes sense. It's not that much of money, but it's still 15 crores commitment over 5 years. and I don't know if there's league production, other things that is involved. And let's see what happens. Ronaldo red card controversy. Where is the controversy, Raj? It's been created by the media. It's a red card, simple, finished, khatam, end of discussion. It's a 3-4 match suspension, which Ronaldo will not get because FIFA and all those guys will try and ensure that he gets a minimum suspension, maybe of 2 matches. And this is, to me, it's a 4. It's violent conduct. It's a 4-match suspension. I'm interested to see if the discipline in UEFA does it. And showed his character again. AC Milan, 1990s, 2006, 2007 was a team to watch. Yeah, Devanshu. Yeah. Top players. They played fast-paced football. Yeah. I've always had a soft spot for classic stadiums where pitch sits right up close to stands. Places like Sellers Park, Highbury, Goodison Park, Anfield, that tight intimate atmosphere is unbeatable. Yeah. And for example, I like Loftus Road. I've been to QPR a few times, and let's see. Good night, and as of now, we're still not getting ISL before GTA 6. Just saying. That's an interesting one. Will GTA 6 come out earlier, or will we see the restart of the Indian Super League? Good question. Good question, Swasti. Good night to you, and hopefully you'll join again in the coming days. Yeah. February to May will be very hot summer to play a minimum of 2 matches a week. Mahesh, I don't see that happening. Again, the whole approach is not realistic. When we didn't qualify for World Cup third round, Asian Cup, these players didn't utter a single word. But when they saw money will not come from ISL clubs, now are crying. These players don't deserve 50%. Raj, it's not that easy, right? Again, you have to also remember that being a footballer for these players is livelihood, right? So for them, it is about their lives. And it's not just about the 25, 30 national team players or top level players. It's about all of the players you have at all of the clubs, right? And you have players who don't earn that much, right? Again, yes, for Indian standards, they still earn well, but they don't earn as much as the top players. They're not earning in pros. So therefore, I wouldn't go so hard on them because the clubs are also part of the ecosystem. So therefore, from that perspective, I would say don't go too hard on them. That would be my request, so to say, because I think the players, have to do their part in trying to, keep things going, and that's a difficult part in itself, right? I mean, given these realities at the moment, it's not easy. Looks like Ryan Williams will play against Bangladesh around 10 days for NOC required. Who says 10 days, Krishna? NOC is AIFF email to Football Australia. You give them a call, say, guys, I need this. Can you please check? They check. Okay. Send a letter. Bam. Upload it. FIFA system. Done. Who says 10 days? It's a matter of hours. So, yeah. Who's the most pacey player from Indian team? Changte? At the moment, Krishna, I would say yes. Is Akash Mishra will start? Could be. Yeah. So, to me, yeah. I'm not a Ronaldo fan, but I've seen Messi elbow players and analysts who doesn't get a yellow card. Yeah, but Ronaldo has done also these things in the past and didn't get a yellow card. So therefore, we don't need to get into this Ronaldo-Messi discussion. Cristiano Ronaldo red card, khatam. There's no controversy whatsoever. Again, this is a CR7 conspiracy, whatever, blah, blah. Get over it. I think Southeast Asia gradually improving and difference between South and Southeast countries increasing. Devanshu, it's always been there. Southeast Asian countries always were better. And again, there have been surprises like India, Thailand 4-1 in the Asian Cup 2019. So, yeah, let's see. Here, against, yes, zigzag. Good in football is to integrate 6 to 7 diaspora players in U17, U20, U23, and seniors. The government need to do something. I think temporary sports passport. Yeah, zigzag. This is what I've been saying for years, but nothing has happened so far. So let's wait and see. Tough games for Sweden, Nigeria to qualify for World Cup. Yeah, Stephen, there's a lot of countries who will be struck. Sweden, Italy, most probably. Let's see. But they should take responsibility for failures, which they didn't. That's my problem. Raj, again, you want a social media post and that makes you happy? Again, do you know if they're taking responsibility or not? But just a social media post, you're fine with it. And if someone posted, some people say, oh, ChatGPT has written it. So, so that's the thing. Means max. Listen, Krishna, it's not max 10 days. It is a few hours. Again, this is a story by the AIFF being, this is, if he doesn't play, that's a failure on the part of the AIFF. This is a quick process. Send a formal mail. if you know someone at Football Australia, or call up the AFC and say, listen, can you give me a contact at Football Australia? Can I talk to XYZ? Hey guys, listen, your former player, Ryan Williams, now has an Indian passport. We want him to play for us. Check your database. He's played for your under 20s, he's played for your under 23s, he's played one friendly for you. Could you give us an NOC so we can upload it into the system? The FIFA can allow us to register him for the matchday squad. Simple. What is the problem? Why make it an expanded process? It is not an expanded process. Ryan Williams should by now have had his NOC. So was there any league in Indian football before NFL? No, Mahesh. NFL 1996 started, and before that you only had the local leagues and the tournaments. There was no national level competition. ChatGPT says around 10 days. Yes, understand. If tries Ryan gets NOC within 2. Listen, Krishna, if ChatGPT, Twitter, Wikipedia, I am talking out of these things out of experience. I've worked this out. I've spoken to people about how to get NOCs and other things if needed for players to play for us. We've had this situation with a player over a decade back where we discussed this, right? How quickly could you, if needed, be? I know this from my friends in Pakistan, in Bangladesh, in Sri Lanka, Indonesia. It is a matter of hours. It's not days. That's what I'm saying. You guys check ChatGPT. I live in reality. I'm talking to you out of experience. Ronaldo mocked referee. That's why fanboys spreading that. Raj, it doesn't matter. You guys care about it. The real football world doesn't matter. Cristiano Ronaldo, again, is not going to get a fair play award anyway. And he has history against the Irish. So yeah, it adds to it. So can you tell me how football culture can be built in UP? Krishna, you have to start, to spread it at grassroots level, which means at schools. You need to grow it across the state. In my opinion, it's not easy. In my opinion, in a state like UP, spreading football is not an easy attempt because you have to work across different levels. Schools, as I say, I'm sure that in cities like Lucknow, 5-a-side grounds are now cropping up, or 7-a-side grounds are cropping up, artificial turf where people are playing, and that's how you grow. Ishan Pandit to Malappuram FC. Yeah, Vagabond, I read about it, saw a social media post earlier today. It's good for him that he's going to play. Hopefully, he gets to play football. Good that he's got a club, and then if he can prove himself, move up. Then some our fans will know without any social media post. I know social media posts is enough, but still. Raj, the thing is, you guys live in that world. I don't. I live in reality. And I have had a conversation with a few players where I know that the players understand it. But I know also players who don't understand it. That, but again, you guys live in that world. And again, to me, still, the players, yes, it is about the livelihoods. If you had a job and that job tomorrow could disappear, you would also do. Sir, our point is that they were really serious. Why don't they call up their agents if there's any possible players abroad at 4-5 division on loan? How will the agents have a contact in those leagues? No one will no one is waiting for Indian player. That's why I understand your points with no matches this season. Yeah, agree. But who is going to take if you have an Indian agent say, hey, listen, get me a club somewhere in the world. Yeah, not going to work that way. And these guys also then they talk about salary part. Isn't the Pashi will play in Sigra Stadium whenever Arsenal happens next year? Krishna, there's no clarity. Again, if government talked that they wanted to integrate origin players in sports, so they should have planned. No one wanted to know if this kind of ambassador play. You have to give some temporary sport pass. Zigzag, they haven't said that. When did the government has said through the National Sports Governance Bill that they will enable an interaction with diaspora, right? Could be players, could be coaches, officials, could be even me, right? The government has not said anything. The government is not simplifying the process. No, where PFC will play, John Ernest is not. Who says it's not available? They have presented a plan to turn into Sports City. That Sports City is not happening tomorrow, right? Sporting Club Delhi also has to play somewhere. So let's wait and see what happens. Because if that's the plan, the Sports City plan, again, I don't understand why you want to build a Sports City because you're saying Wasn't Ahmedabad supposed to be the Olympic bid city, or is now Delhi going to be the Olympic? I'm also very confused on that. If ISL type tournaments was there in old days, we would have played in the World Cup. No, it's not so easy, Mahesh. That is your problem. You can't go back and say, oh, if we had this, then that's what happened. No. Hey, Rishabh, welcome back. Your thoughts on today's news? I think you want to say 23 game pathetic. Summary, very bad. If I really like the way the Thais played today, really like the way the combination play, the combination flow. Wasteful. Thailand has always been very wasteful, but I like the way they play football. And yeah, we didn't play well. Is Ryan Williams NOC sorted? Rishabh, as I speak at this moment in time, no, it is not sorted. What's your opinion about Khalid's current 22 call-ups? Do you think he chose the best possible players we can't have now? No. We will not pick up the best 23 because we are looking at the next window. Again, if I look at some of the younger ones who are there, again, are they really ready for this level? No, they're not. To me, a lot of players are in this team who are not ready for senior level football, if you ask me, right? If you ask me, 1 second, let me go through the list. Do you think that Sahil is ready for international football? Is Parmveer ready for international football? Is Fanai, is McCarthan, are they ready for international football? Is a Mohammad Sanan ready for international football? No, they're all of them not. But they're getting that exposure. So, okay, I'm going to take it because we don't have any competitions, right? But the question is, no more Magan players, which is a disgrace on the national club of India to always find a reason to pick a fight with the AIFF, right? Government is serious for sports like football. Indian government can provide sports by origin players. No one leave citizenship like Ryan Williams. Yeah, Krishna. There are players who are willing to do that, but the process needs to be faster. Worst case, if there is no league this year, can the head coach work on the real basics of players to improve basics like first touch, passing, position, and start with? No. I'm already worried if I see our under 23s the next match because I feel sometimes that's too old. You can improve a little bit here and there, but if I see the way that the Thais played today, and if I see how so yeah, that's the thing. 18 November, some strong decision? No. 18 November is just a meeting. What decision are you expecting? 18 November, I think the 24th might be interesting if the AIFF is going to have a special general body meeting. And then we'll see what happens. Isn't it the job of an agent to have connections with clubs abroad? If they can't do this basic thing, why are they even hired? Utsav, what are you talking about, my friend? An Indian agent's job is to have contacts abroad to place Indian players. Come on. So to me, his job is to place the players either in ISL, I League, or I League 2, or even, let's say, CFL or Goa Pro League or whatever. His job is not to place them in Southeast Asia or here or there. He will have some contacts, let's say in Europe or South America, and say, hey, because you're sourcing foreigners into India. But then if you want to do it the other way around, who's going to take players? Right? AIFF gives double pop before Asian Cup calls that they will bring origin players into locality and was set to Krishna, yeah, but that was clear from the onset. Listen, I produced the list that Kalyan Chaubey always speaks about. That list has gone from me via someone to the AIFF, and I don't even think Kalyan Chaubey knows that the list that he's talking about is actually my list that I've created. Right? After so many years, YouTube recommended me 2016 ISL final. What in earth was legends like Furlan, Roberto Carlos played? Yeah, they were there. But now it's national club, it's national team now. Raj, it was declared as the national club, so one can call it that. But yeah, it's disgraceful. Did this U20 just get exposed? Yes, Rishabh, they did. Badly. Bikash Yumnam, who I have said to me is the best player or was the best player in this team, who's now been called up to the seniors. Bikash not playing at the back. No chance. And the 4-0 is, putting it mildly, 6-7-0 would have been fairer result for Thailand. Right? So, yeah. But sir, according to critics, U20 players should die. Yeah, that's the point. That's what I said. I listed to you the players who have been picked for the senior national team who I don't think are worth it. Sahil Punya. How many games has he played at senior level? Sorry. Again, He might be talented, but Ritik Tiwari for me makes sense. But then where is Gurmeet, for example? If I like him or not, Amrinder, Vishal Keth, Purba Lachempa, even TP Ramesh, right? Because Shundam, I said, to me, if he continues to play like he's playing, could be a long-term replacement for our backline. Ramveer, how much did he play for Punjab FC in the Super Cup? Right? And that's what I'm saying. Fanai needs time, needs more minutes. McGrath Dixon needs more time. How much did Edmund play? Mohammed Sanan. All of these guys have issues of minutes and exposure. Any player trying to go abroad? Rushabh, I have a few players who actually approached me, but and let's see, maybe I'll try and do for the one and there's something, but at the moment, nothing finalized, nothing sorted. Some orange players improve Indian football without proper grassroots players. See, it's not about grassroots improvement, it's about improving the national team. And the question is, if we are unable to do bottom up, which a lot of nations have done, we have to do top down, right? That was the idea of the ISL, which I still feel is good, but again, then it needs some tweaking. Then the national team is on top of the league, so if the national team is successful, it should trickle down. Krishna says to Mahesh, better performance in Indian team if OCI player integrated and better chance of getting a World Cup and better performance can bring more fans who are not interested in football. Yeah, and again, these are interest of fans and whatever. To me, it's more about the commercial side of things. No teams in Europe want Indian players. Same in Middle East and South America, not sure in Southeast Asia for sure. J-League, K-League and Australia want them. None, Stephen. None of the areas where you've mentioned wants an Indian player, right? According to your list, which players have most likely chance to make it to nationality or something like Ryan can be pulled off, maybe interested in moving to India if I sort of. Rushabh, I have never spoken about the players playing in India. I don't think that is the solution to it. And again, out of confidentiality with talking to the players, I'm not going to mention which names. Again, it's 6-7 players who would be willing to do it tomorrow. If there's a possibility, they will even be willing to take up an Indian passport if the Indian government made it an easier process. If you can do it in 3 months, I know 6-7 players who would be willing to do that immediately. At last, we may not get even to play in Asian Games next year if we perform like this. Devanshu, I don't even know. Is that our aim, playing Asian? Again, we are going back to the mistakes we used to do in the 50s and 60s. Why are we talking about the Asian Games? Do the others really care? Most of the other nations are under 20 teams, right? I feel our backline is not problem but midfield. Our backline is the problem, Raj. Our midfield was a problem. Our whole team was a problem, but our backline was exposed. Because Ayush, Namte, and even Vibin had no control on the midfield. But our defense line with Ronnie and with Sumit Sharma was too inexperienced. Ash Palande didn't have a good game as well. Raj Bashwa was substituted at halftime. This was not good enough. Right? Yes, you cannot direct integrate U23 players to national team put in directly without giving exposure can result now fall in their own performance. Yes, Krishna, very well understood. These players are not ready, right? So, when there was I-League, then why ISL was introduced, did you oppose the idea? No, Raj. Because the I-League clubs did not want to professionalize. Reliance would have liked to have turned the I-League into the ISL. In 2011, 2012, even I did some work for them in 2012, 2013. The idea was to turn the I-League into the ISL. It didn't happen, right? And that's the reason why then the push was there to create the ISL. And it was right because, again, I had some hand in the idea behind the ISL, and then I did some work for Mumbai City at the start of the ISL. Indian players need to work on better physicality and pace, especially forward. Krishna, physicality and pace is the second thing. We need to be technically better. We need to be tactically better. We need to physically, yes, better. And of course, physicality means also pace, right? So we need to be better in everything. Belgium draw against Kazakhstan, says Vignesh. Yeah. Indian football struggling, money, skills, and politics. Mahesh, is not money. We are spending money at the wrong end. And but money is not the problem. If we spend the money correctly, wisely, rightly, then you can build something. We are not spending the money rightly. We are spending on everything, anything, but we're not getting out the result that we want and that we need. Right? It's not just that the players' salaries are too high, but the whole ecosystem, there's too much of money being put in. So I didn't say about today about national team. Acha. Okay. Someone seriously needs to whisper in Modi's ear how OCI will improve not just football, every sport in general will have more medals than only we can go faster. But Rushabh, they're not interested. They are interested about cricket. They don't care about football. Else, I don't think any government will take allowing origin players to play for us seriously. I don't know. Grassroots can only improve it by good quality coaches, nutrition, sports education. Yeah, but again, sports education and nutrition is a B plan. Your E plan has to be the coaches, and this is where we are not willing to have. So that's the thing. In your opinion, what's the most implementable youth football model for India? Thinker, there is no one model for India. I need to localize my models. I need to look at what will work in Goa. I will need to look at what will work, let's say, in Kerala, what will work in Bangalore and Tamil Nadu, and then what works elsewhere in Bengal, what works in Manipur will not work in Mizoram. I need to have models which work in different regions. Yes, today defender willing to get red card from referee. Ayush Chitty not playing good. I don't know if he was willing to get a red card, but he was close to it, right? There were a few players. Ayush didn't have a good game. Nante could have been sent off. Yeah, even Sumit Sharma could have been sent off. Yeah. For whom I-League clubs waiting for now doing meetings with sports minister Raj, they thought that they are not affected by all these problems. I remember I spoke to someone a couple of months back who said, "Oh no, this is ISL problems. This is not our problems." I said, "How does the AIFF fund the I-League? Do you recognize that the I-League subsidizes the ISL? The ISL subsidizes the I-League. That FSDL's funds are used for the I-League, without which input it will not happen." Your thoughts on money given to state level from AIFF? Mahesh? Yeah, that's part and parcel. But again, I think the states need to be able to raise their own money, and that's where they all faltered. The system is dependent on that. From the top, the money trickles down. You don't do your stuff on the ground level. Everyone, some of the money comes down, and then the money ends up with you. Politicians only will come to take credit if any team wins a silverware. Stephen, even not that. Look at the women's success and who's taking credit for the Indian women's senior team, under 20s, under 17s qualifying for Asia, right? A small social media post by the sports minister, bas khatam ho gaya. Nothing more, nothing less. IWA tender opinions, the team, I don't know who's going to pick it up. If I look at the media rights, I would think maybe SSCN would pick it up. And otherwise, I don't see anyone coming forward picking it up, because as successful as our women's have been, but the women's, again, like as we've talked about the I-League, it is cross-subsidized from the money that the AIFF has been getting from Reliance, right? That's the reality, if I like it or not. Is Lucknow Tech-Tro FC Canadians bring football culture at Lucknow? Your views? Krishna, I don't know enough about them. I know that they've tried a lot of things or trying a lot of things, but I don't know them good enough to be able to say if they can bring football culture to Lucknow, because I also don't know Lucknow that much as a city, to be very honest. I mean, you've tried reaching out to them and they just ignore. The best way, in my opinion, to resource a quota have more. Rand Williams. Rushabh, Rand Williams quota is not the system to work, because it's failed. We did this in 2005, 2006, where we had in the NFL a PIO quota, and quite a number of clubs actually signed players. And there was one success story, and that was Arata Izumi. All the others were not good enough, or couldn't. Again, there were 2 or 3 players who actually couldn't cope with the conditions. Again, in the ISL, the conditions are much better, but some of them, I remember one player went on trial at East Bengal and he said, "Listen, guys, yeah, not happening." We also need to see cricket is giving money to government. Then why shouldn't come focus on cricket? It's obvious. How is cricket giving money to the government? The government is spending more than they're getting out of it, right? If I look at the infrastructure investment and other things, I think the government of India, or governments, not only government of India, but state governments, local district, whatever, spend more money than money that is coming in, would be my logic. Why wasn't I-League commercialization done by FSDL? Because Rishabh, they wanted to, but the I-League clubs didn't want to do it in 2011, 2012. That is very often forgotten in the history of things, that Churchill Brothers, East Bengal, Mohun Bagan opposed FSDL, and then FSDL said, you know what, if you don't want to work with us and build a commercial model for this league, we'll have to build something new. So that's how the ISL came about. But again, no one is going to tell you this story, because this story is very often forgotten. The I-League is not the sufferer of this. The I-League created all, Hope for comeback on 18th. Utkarsh, let's hope so. I wish and hope FSL will take up IWL rights. Rishabh, they're not going to pick it up. It's not in their remit. They've had the rights of women's football. Their focus has been the ISL. So I don't see them taking up those rights. Do you think Northeast can sponsor football just like Odisha did to hockey, wrestling, etc., especially in Meghalaya? Krishna, theoretically, yes. Meghalaya is already doing it with Northeast United, with Shillong Lajong, but those are small figures. Odisha spent millions in dollars to support Indian hockey to being a world-class team, Some people associated with I-Leagues are not willing to accept that FSL money was used. Raj, that's the problem, so therefore, that's... A lot of people don't want to believe realities. In Indian football, that's the biggest struggle that we have, I think, that the reality of things is not believed in Indian football. That we live in this, what I like to call La La Land, that things are in a certain way and it works in a way and it doesn't. But NFL wasn't as good as ISL. We can't compare them. An average 20-29 would rather choose ISL again if it's sorted. Forget the NFL. NFL, yeah. We're talking about I-League, yeah, and that Rishabh, of course. Now, Mamata Banerjee announced the cricket stadium in Siliguri. Yeah. Yes, whenever any MP minister want to impress sports fans, they announce to build a cricket stadium. Yeah, Krishna, that's part of the problem. So if ISL was created in 22 because Ismo Watcher did not allow commercials in I-League, how come 22 agreement have a new league mentioned that will be senior most league owned by a new company? Nadeem, it was mentioned as an option. This was always as a plan B. Right? It was always a plan B if there were companies like Godrej who were willing to attach themselves to Indian football. But they were large corporates, right? But the behavior of these clubs has not changed over the last 15 years. They want to have their little fiefdom and not run it in the way that you want to professionalize things, right? And therefore, that's it. If every state government support football, we wouldn't have been in this position. Mahesh, not even even if 10 came together and did something, then that would have helped, right? So therefore, that's the thing, right? So, but we're not there. We're not there, and we were quite far off from that position because, we've had a few governments. Let's not forget it. Mizoram massively has helped football. Odisha has done their stuff in the last few years in small ways. Goa, but not Goa hasn't actually. They used to do more a decade back than they do today, I would have said. Kerala here and there, and Bengal here and there as well, and then the others. Yeah. But again, then the list becomes. Manipur can be said. Meghalaya has to be mentioned. Arunachal has to be mentioned. But again, where are the big states? Sikkim has done certain things, but not the big ones. Goenka made Mohanbang worst. Krishna, it's maybe not him personally, but the people that he's brought along, they've not helped really the setup of Mohun Bagan Supergiant, and that's the problem of the team. Right, 1 hour and 30 minutes set to be completed. That means 90 minutes of this live Indian football discussion on this Saturday evening. Quick reminder, if you like the conversation, please leave a like behind. Share with other people as well. And of course, if you're listening, you're liking the conversation, do leave a subscription behind. We're at 3,412 today. Thank you very much. And yeah, and thank you again. As I say, growing, trying to reach the 4,000 mark before the end of the year. So yeah, 15th of November, still 1.5 months to go. So do help me. Yeah. Why did Mr. Goenka choose Mohun Bagan, not East Bengal? Raj, he spoke to East Bengal before that. Neetu Da turned it down. Neetu Sarkar turned it down and said, no, we as East Bengal don't want you, don't need you. And then he went to Mohun Bagan. So conversations happened, right? Only Kerala, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Odisha, Manipur, Arunachal Pradesh. Yeah, as I said, in some, yeah, that's the thing. If FSDL wanted to commercialize I-League, how come after they came, national team matches was difficult while Z used to have great telecast? I-League available on some Bengali news channel for 1 or 2 years. Nadeem, because at the start, Reliance didn't have a broadcast partner in the system. Even they came in, listen, they came in, IMG, Reliance came in. Let's forget Reliance. It's not actually Reliance. There was no FSDL, right? It was IMG Reliance that came in, and it was IMG who came into football. IMG India, what did they organize at the time? They organized the ATP, the tennis in Chennai. They used to do the Lakme Fashion Week. They used to do some commercial deals here and there. And then came football around. Because earlier, Reliance had helped AIFF and Professor Patel commercially, financially, not commercially, financially. And then when Z said, we will spend less and less money, because the coverage, if you remember 2009, 2010, the coverage got worse, right? I remember in 2008, I did some work for Z Sports during the Federation Cup in Calcutta, and Barasat was the tournament was held completely, where with Mantilangar, Arjun Pandit was there. After that, it literally died out. And then the question was, how do you turn it around? And Star Sports always said, we don't want to show Indian football, right? And then they tried to push the product, and it didn't work. And then the ISL came around. Star Sports in 2013 said, yes, we will not only broadcast, we will invest into this league. That was the turning point for the ISL to become the ISL in 2014, because they took 1 year longer than originally planned. They wanted to launch the league in 2013, but then they launched it in 2014. DD Sports Book, Quality for National Team Federation Cup. Yeah. Mohun Bagan is a big club. If Mr. Gonkalis, they will get an investor. Raj, who says that? It doesn't matter how big as a club you are. In Bengal, your only way to get an investor is via political connect, right? East Bengal, all the investors, political connect. Even at Mohammedan, there was political involvement. So Mohun Bagan, being a big club, doesn't matter. Nobody will come for Mohun Bagan. And with all that's happened around Mohun Bagan, it will not work. So Kerala government support football now, Kerala athletics so poor national level with me dominated. Mahesh, the problem is in football, how is the Kerala government really supporting? Now, look at, for example, the Kochi Stadium. The Blasters have been saying, please, can you help us revamp the stadium in Kalur? Nothing has happened. Now, suddenly, with the with the Messi match supposed to happen, they woke up and wanted to do things. And so therefore, it is not a one-off thing. If the so-called legacy club opposed it, but were these clubs involved at all, like with bringing in commercial partners, let's go in football, where this come on? No, they didn't do anything. No, these clubs, again, it is the same situation as with sort of the ISL clubs today. That hey, listen, someone is organizing something for me, and in the I-League it was even more. The AIFF was doing everything for the clubs, So that's the reality. In the clubs want everything to be done for them, and then actually turn up, okay, I play a match, then I go home. This used to happen in the I-League, right? Why can't FSL make their own league? Mumbai City, how can they make their own league? You need to registration with the National Federation, this, that, everything. They just can't say, listen, we don't want to do our own league. It doesn't work that way. One reason many people does not like football in India when I was small. I used to watch DD Sports, but I used to run slow, so I used to think football is so boring. Yeah, but again, if you're looking at DD Sports, then again, are they really showing you top class football, or are they not showing you top class football, right? So that's the problem, I guess. What happened to Sahara? They're not involved in any sports right now. Stephen, huge scam, right? Sahara. If I'm Sahara has disappeared, right? As a brand, as a company, I think they. I don't know. Yeah, Shubhato Roy was, I think, the gentleman's name, right? Spent many years in jail. Z-Sport issue came after Indian Cricket League stopped after 2009 November. Mumbai terror attack. BCS also tried to hit them, and that also affected from. No, Nadeem, it was earlier. It was in 2007 already. Things started that they started cutting down on things. It has nothing to do with ICL because he realized that they're unable to raise money to cover their broadcast. Though, if you look at 2005 when they came in with the zebras and if you look at the way he came in, they came in with a bang in 2005. I remember still a very good friend of mine who was the arts director who did the whole campaign. Brilliant campaign, 2005, right? The Federation Cup in Goa, I think Mahindra United won it. Jose Ramirez Barreto goal, I think, if I'm not wrong, and they did really good work. And but then they invested, they tried. The I League started 2007. Costs went higher, and that is when Subhash Chandra and Prabhu Patel already had their issues and problems in the sense of saying, "Listen, I need more money from you," and then they reduced it. We were not willing to spend. Yeah, but that's the whole problem. Nobody wants to spend even a rupee. Football league in India is not profitable. Why does anyone wants to put money in a loss-making business? Stephen, that's out of charity. I very often feel why I doesn't want to make football-centric states. Okay, sorry. Why does the government? Good question, Devanshu. I don't know. For them, football is not a priority. Ambedkar Stadium would be world-class stadium if it's made properly. It has potential. Raj, surely it has massive potential, but for that, a lot of things need to happen with that stadium. SRR did you scam? Yeah, Krishna. Which state? Delhi. In the Delhi where the Indian national team is there. You should see everything is like that. John Hellman, Russell Osman commentary. Yeah, and John did commentary for a number of years. Brilliant commentator. Lovely to work with. I've also had the pleasure. So that's the thing. Is Mahendra Hero may come back away once? No, Krishna. People have tried last 2 years. People have tried to convince. 2-3 years, people have tried to convince Hero to come back, and Mahindra has their own logic behind the whole football thing. So that's the thing. Even in ISL starting, we had John Hellman, top international commentators, pre-post match weekly shows. After 10 years, foreign commentators stopped. No pre-match shows. Yeah. No. ISL commentators haven't stopped because you still had the one or the other guy last season in it, so it hasn't stopped. But again, the one funny thing that we see in Indian football, this whole pre-halftime post-match shows, that's the first thing which dies out. I don't know why, but that's something which seems to die out. And then you realize, okay, the broadcaster is trying to reduce its costs. Was NFL showing on TV at the time? The Bangshu, yes, mostly, but not all. Not all matches used to be broadcast. Yeah. Let's say if those clubs were taken into consideration while making that agreement, wouldn't they have supported it? No. Sir, if City Group leaves Mumbai City, who will run the club? Do you think current stakeholders who in the game? Mumbai City FC extras? Good question. I don't know. See, Bibble and Ranbir can run it on a smaller scale, but I'm not sure if that's going to work. Right? That's a tricky question. And if City Football Group leaves, that means that the ISL is not going to happen. If there's chances of the ISL happening, I think City Football Group will stay. Even right now, if these ISL clubs and players really came together before, they would have been able to pressure the AIFF really hard, and this mess might have been sorted, Maurusha. This mess would have come up, but the reality is, I don't want to say I said it, and it happened. I have said multiple times I would rather, a lot of things I would have rather been wrong, but I've said FIFA ban, And so for me, to me is the clubs were in their own cocoon. FSL took care of everything. We didn't have to bother about anything, and that cocoon has died, and that's a problem for them. Foreign referees as well. Yeah, Rishabh, even I have organized German DFB referees to come. What is the update? So HNKFC, nothing. That's why there's no update so far. So let's wait and see if Ryan is going to play for us or not. It's almost confirmed that India are going to Asian Games 2026, and Musa is very confident that with core U23 team like Mohammed Suhail and all which players we can reach semi-final at least. Shreyansh, no. Semi-final? Seriously? Did anyone watch today? Semi-final? What? Against under 15s? Guys, where are we living? You know? But how many of them watch that pre-post match shows? Raj, I think there's quite a bit of people who do watch it. But you're trying to engage people. You have to engage people, and that is something which I feel that these, post-match shows, let's see. Remember 2004-5 NFL and DD Sports final match day, 3 teams, then post-Sporting Global Eastbourne race with any team could win, and DD did not show any of the matches reason to stop fixing or something. Yeah. Yeah, I to see Dempo winning title, deciding, dedicating it to Cristiano. Yeah, Junior TV on the results. Sporting Club bottled it. Yes, I do remember that. Yes, I understand. Even Wolverhampton would find tough to find sponsor if Pointer leave. Seeing current situation, why should someone take sponsor? Forget. Yeah, that's the problem. As the contract should have been sorted 2 years back, we think everything will be okay. Now it's gone beyond repair. Stephen, that's what I said. I said after the SAF win, to Kalyan Chaubey and to Shaji Prabhakaran, guys, now's the time, right? So that's the point, right? So for me, I don't know. It's a reality to things. Then I've bid for 2031 Asian. Yes, we did. Life of 5,000 people in the world, but our government doesn't even care. Yeah, Krishna, no one. Next season, Portugal go lost to Mahindra United in the final Federation Cup that late Barreto got for the. Yeah, I think that was the one that was talking about first Z competition in Goa. Today, 10 plus main team players were not there. Mohammed Suhail Bhatt, Fanai, McCarthy, Sanan, Parmveer, Bikash, Sahil, Abhishek Tikcham. They were there. The scoreline would have been opposite. This is, again, Shreyansh, this is ignorance. This is something which I can't accept. Right? Oh, all these players missing, that's why this, that. Again, we have to play with what we have, right? Both the Suhails are missing, okay? Fanai, Mekathan, Sanan, Paramveer, Bikash in the senior team, right? Do you think it would have been opposite? No. I was impressed today. So by the thighs. And there is a quality difference. You're talking, again, anyone who's talking about, what we can achieve. Listen, for us, winning one match at the Asian Games will be tough. Maybe we does not even know if the government not send football team to Asian. Exactly, Krishna. We'll have that. I'm telling you, next year, that will be another carnival. Bangladesh to Nepal, India be favorites. Nadeem, of course not. We are not favorites. No matter from where referees, there will always be criticized. Yes, Raj. I remember they ran Let's Football talking about European football most of the part and barely talked about it for hardly 5 minutes post Arsenal season. Yeah, maybe. You think Ryan Williams will be different if players? Yes, he can be. Ryan Williams has qualities which other Indian players don't have. Yeah, that's the reality. So therefore, I would hope Ryan does that. Is the difference player. Now, Chaudhuri Hawkins around the perks of SAF, says Raj. Okay. Chance of getting NLC before the match. Vishal talks. It's a matter of hours normally. I don't know where it is stuck. Has the AIFF really sent a message to Australia? Have they followed up with the Aussies? Simple questions. I don't know. So therefore, we'll have to wait and see what Happens. Post-match shows with Elko, Phil Brown, Pradyum were interesting and worth watching. Yeah, Rishabh, it's. I think it's always good because it's supposed to be engaging. I think a pre-match, halftime, and a post-match is always good to interact with people and get something out of it. I think Khalid should have left U23s alone. I'm not saying they would have won or lost, but I think this group needs to keep together until the Asian Games project. Yeah, I agree on that as well. If you want to help Naushad and help these players also, again, whenever these guys have played at senior level, they've been exposed. And again, Mohamed Sanan has not impressed me in the under-23s. MacArthur didn't look ready when he played against Singapore. So let's see. The discussion of ISL contract renewal should have been done when Igor's too much case was going on. Yeah, Raj, that's what I said to them. Up to which age runners can road in for 36, 38? Krishna will have to wait and see. I think he's got another 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 36 surely. You know. So thanks for all the support and you all Indian football. Thanks, Nine-Claw. I try and do my things. Whatever I can, I will try and do. And I'll be critical of things when I think that, one needs to be critical and we need to talk about things, but we need to grow Indian football. So, yeah. You think other players who follow Ryan's path like Jan? Shomo, Ryan is staying in India. So, therefore, and GSW enabled him to get the passport. So, that's a different situation. And, so therefore, let's wait and see what happens. Fans would have abused Kyle does not indicate U20 players amongst. That's the problem. But he's going to get abused anyway. So if you're going to, if you lose, you're going to get it. And Hamza could not take Bangladesh over the line with the win. I doubt one Ryan Wilson can change anything in national team. Stephen, it's not about getting us over the line. It's just that we get quality. Ryan Williams alone will not be the difference maker. Right? Even a Messi and a Cristiano Ronaldo need players around them to be able to be successful. And but Ryan Williams gives us a level of quality which we don't have. I'm very disappointed with Khalid. You're not going to play them anyway. They'll get exposure in 23 games instead. That's why better some of these guys will make in 2 years probably until they leave. Rushabh, I think that some of these boys are going to play for the under-23s or would have played for the under-23s and would have never been in the future part of the senior team. They fizzle out, right? For the greater good, if they need to sacrifice the season, so be it. It's yeah, Simon, that's what I've said. I said in the video yesterday. Those who have watched it, do watch it. If you have an Indian football crisis, where I clearly say to me, it is better, if need be, we sacrifice this season and build a structure for the mid to long term. Because at the moment, the way things are, we're not going to get out of it. This is stuck. The Supreme Court is going to work on it, and that's it. Here at Bengali news clubs will inform Supreme that will pay for broadcast and all. Will AIFF agree to that if they don't get any money? Nadeem, I don't know if the pay for broadcast thingy is still around. I think it's very generic. So the AIFF wants the league to start. If the clubs, my point is, if you do a league for the sake of doing a league in a bad way, I'm not going to use the words that I normally would like to use, right? If you do a league in a bad way for the sake of doing a league, it's not going to change anything. It will make matters worse. Because if I'm going to do a league for the sake of put it on a broadcast platform, who's interested, right? Whole Bangladesh depend on Hamza. No, Krishna, that's not the case, right? They've got 3, 4, 5 now origin players in their team, and therefore Bangladesh, yes, Hamza is a cut above the rest. He's the best South Asian player at the moment. Let's be very clear. But they have others as well. So if I look at the squad, who they've got Shomit Shom, Calvary FC, who played in that snow final in Ottawa. They've pulled up Zain Ahmed, who plays in George Mason University. They've already had Fahmidul Islam, the young 19-year-old striker in Olbia in Italy, and they've got many more waiting in the wings. So therefore, Bangladesh is not a one-trick pony. Self-government made easy to take decision, but hey, would those players surrender? Yes, they would, Raj. I've said this multiple times. May, sir, you reach 10K up to next year. Thank you. Thank you, Krishna. And as always, support the channel. Keep me growing. 3,413 is the current number. As I said, try and reach 4,000 by the end of the year. And again, the more I need that support from you guys, otherwise I won't be able to reach that level. Would the OCIPO yes, we should not do ISIL this year, make better system next year. Boom, restart from next year. Yeah. Do you have someone with Heisman quality in your list? No, we have different level players, but not that list. Rest sports is Bangla doing things that they shouldn't. Okay, Raj, I don't know. Yeah, Shom also good. Without Hamza, we might have won that game. In my opinion, he was winning all those balls, not allowing us to progress. He was brilliant that night. Rushabh, he was the best player. And if I like it or not, in Shillong, Bangladesh deserved to win. Right? So, yeah, realities. Good night, Raj. Yeah, 1 hour 51 minutes already. I'll slowly also come to an end on this Saturday evening on a day that the India under-23s lose 0-4 to Thailand. Ryan Williams, as you see here in the picture, has traveled with the Indian team to Bangladesh, but the NOC is still not there. And the future of the Indian Super League is still up in the air. So we'll have to wait and see, guys. Again, please do watch the short videos and support the channel. I need your support, guys, to grow. And again, if you're watching it later, please leave a like behind, share with other people. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, and as I say, watch the short videos, leave a like behind, leave a hype behind, and thanks a lot. Thanks, and good night, everyone.